Hey y'all, it's Nancy, the Handy Scandy, and today I am back with Sassy and Crafty for my new crafty venture. We are making this cute 5x7 card, and we are going to jump right in with using, you guessed it, my gel plate press. This one is an 8x10, and you can see by all those crusty bits around the edges that this is a well-loved plate. So if you are unfamiliar, I have recently become very much enamored with the gel plate press, and I love using my alcohol inks on it. So that is where I start. I pull out just a rainbow of alcohol inks, and I'm laying them, as you can see, on the diagonal. Very messy, very not random, because they go in rainbow order, but there's no perfection here. I am not a perfectionist. I never strive for perfection. I strive to be true to what I like and what I do. So I go down, like I said, diagonal with my rainbow colors, just kind of blend them out a little bit, and you can see that I'm rearing off into an art journal there on the side. And I lay this beautiful stencil down on the diagonal. Now this stencil is relatively new from Sassy and Crafty. It's called Geometric Nature. Man, I've been wanting to get my hands on this one for a while. I think it's gorgeous. So you saw me pushing it down because I wanted to make sure that there was good adherence between the stencil and the gel plate. So I just pushed it down a little bit on those solid pieces, and then I laid down an alloy mixative. That was, I believe, the rose gold. You want to make sure if you're using any of the metallics that you shake it up really well, because all of that mica settles down to the bottom of the bottle, so shake them really well. And then I just added a little bit of the blending solution to be able to brayer it out. Let it dry, and then when you pull your stencil, let it dry. And then I am using just some clear matte medium, and yeah, that's going to be my pulling agent. For those of you that don't know, matte medium is essentially the base product for acrylic paints. So it's just when you use this versus an acrylic paint to do your pull, you're not getting any added color to it. And I didn't want any because look at all that color. Look at all that color. And again, it looks kind of messy, it looks kind of random, but all I'm going to do is cut out the square where the stencil was, right? So here we go. Of course, it's a 6x6 stencil, and I'm making a 5x7 card. So I'm just kind of whittling away, trimming down here, trimming down there, getting to the right size, but trying not to lose any of that color. I want a little bit of all those colors on that panel. So I feel like I did it. I feel like I did it justice, and I got it down to just under 5x7 because I'm going to layer it. So now I'm looking at this sweet stamp set, and I can't decide which one of those adorable critters I want to use. I started to go with all of them because there's enough real estate on this card to have accommodated that. But I ended up going with the sweet monkey and the little lammy. And of course, this set is called Messy Hands Equals Happy Heart. And yeah, that's kind of my life motto, I guess, at least in terms of crafting. And then I couldn't decide which sentiment to use. Like, they're all great. There's no heart without art. Art is whatever you want it to be. Best artist ever. Embellishments make me sparkle. It's not necessary for an artist to be crazy, but it helps. And I ended up going with Glad You're Part of My Crew. It's so cute. There's a bucket on there. There are several paint splatters. There's a big painty heart. There's like a swirly heart that could be, you know, hand drawn. It's adorable. Absolutely adorable set. I had to have it. On to the coloring. I'm no colorist, and I say that frequently, but I know a lot of people like to watch the coloring, so I've left in some of it. Now, I want to say that everything in this video is sped up ×2, some of it ×4, actually. And this particular section, the coloring section, is sped up ×2, so you can see how excruciatingly slow I color. I mean, look at that. Even though my hand looks like it's going fast, it is not fast. So anyway, yeah, I don't show a lot of it, but yeah. So if you want to see someone color, I'm telling you, Miss Mindy, she's the one. You go watch Miss Mindy. You'll see some fantastic coloring. I decided I wanted to do a little tip-to-tip action here because my light was a little too light to fill in that centerpiece, but the darks were too dark. So I needed to find that happy medium, and the tip to tip technique really worked for me here. So if you're not familiar with tip to tip, if you saw, I was taking my light colored marker and touching the tip of that nib to the tip of a darker colored marker, and that gives you a little bit of a mid-range color, if you will. And of course it only lasts for a couple of strokes because there's not a whole lot of the darker ink on the tip of the lighter pen. But yeah, it works. The tip to tip technique is very effective if you need just a shade darker or a shade lighter. I think it really works well. So doing the same thing here, I think it works well. So I am trying to figure out the placement of these two sweet critters to know what color paint should be dripping off the end of their paintbrush. So the monkey, as you saw in the beginning, ends up being kind of on the lower right hand side, and then the Lammy is up on the top left hand side. So the Lammy's brush is red, kind of pinky, and then the little monkey's paintbrush is kind of that tealy green. So yeah, I think they're very sweet. So here I decide I want her to be a yellow Lammy. A lot of the yellow got washed out on the gel plate pull, and with the monkey I decided to make him purple because none of the purple made it onto the project anyway. So filling in that rainbow gap, right? We needed some yellow, we needed some purple, so the critters bring in those colors. Again, no colorist, I can't stress that enough, but I'm just taking various shades of yellow, some darker, some lighter. There I just brought in a little bit deeper yellow to make some shadows, I guess, a little bit of differentiation and depth. And then I decided that I wanted Lammy's little shoes and her bow and her nose to be the same color as her paintbrush. So I'm coloring those in and just adding some depth and dimension. And I've said before, my critters all have to have green eyes because I have green eyes. So there's my Lammy with green eyes. And the monkey's eyes are just little dots of black. They're just little button eyes. Super cute. And then I decided I wanted her to have teal hair because why not? I mean, if you're going to be a yellow lamb, you may as well have teal hair. I mean, it just makes sense to me. So I colored up the little monkey in very much the same way, various shades of purples and lilacs and periwinkles. And I feel like he doesn't have the same amount of depth and dimension that the Lammy has, but in the end, he is what he is. I think he's adorable. And I mean, he's a purple monkey. What's not to love about a purple monkey? You saw me using my my white gel pen just because I wanted to add a little bit of highlights, some of those just sweet, fun little marks that kind of add some of that depth and dimension that I felt like was missing from the coloring. And so I fussy cut both of them out. Here I am just cleaning up a little bit of the edges where there was a little bit of white space left that was too thick, so I trimmed it down. Thing to remember when you're fussy cutting is you want to move your image more than you move your scissor. It's not to say the scissor doesn't move at all, because clearly it does, but you move the image, not the scissor. Just keep that in mind as you practice. So here I have all my pieces and parts. Everything is either die cut or trimmed down to size. It's ready to be put together. So I've got my 5x7 card base cut out, and it is scored and folded with my bone folder. And then I don't measure the rest. Everything else is just trimmed to size. So that black panel, I could not tell you the size. I can guesstimate. It's probably about 5, I don't know. Nope, I can't guesstimate because numbers are hard. Anyway, it fits. So then I add the foam tape to my rainbow gel plate panel, and wonky. This right side looks great. The left side, not so much. And that's unfortunately what I get when I just trim and don't use measurements. So I just got a wonky side there. But it's okay because I embrace the imperfection. Yeah, so I use my glue there, and I just glue my little critters down, figuring out where their paintbrushes would be touching. that pretty rainbow background. And I put them on the vellum heart because I wanted them to stand out a little bit more from that background. And because the background has a lot going on with that rainbow and that texture, they just didn't stand out. So the vellum heart kind of tones down the background where the critters are, but it still allows that beautiful color and texture to show through. So then I adhered them down just with the glue, and I put the glue on the back of the critters and not all over the vellum, because you don't want that glue to show through, and things show through vellum, trust me. Then I put my sentiment down with a little bit of foam tape, and now I'm adding some glossy accents to the end of their paintbrushes as well as to their eyes. And here I have this beautiful, beautiful sequin mix from Doodle's Paper Playground. And let me see if I can find the name of it real quick while I'm talking. But I'm using that glue, that regular glue, to adhere it all down. And I'm using that fun skeleton or skull shaped lid. It's not a lid. It's an embellishment dish. That is from Twiddler's Nook. And that wand is from Studio Katya. Let me tell you about the wand. So any kind of wand like this, that whole black tip, that is made out of wax. So if it stops picking up, just rub that wax between your fingertips, and it warms it up and melts it a little bit, so you can reshape it. You can remove anything that might be stuck on there, dust, hair, whatever, and then it will start picking up for you again. But there we have it. I can't find the name of the sequin mix, but I'll try to list that down below. But here is my card, guys. It's a big one. It's a 5x7. It's fun. It's happy. It says exactly what I want it to say. Glad you're part of my crew. I mean, yeah, that's exactly how I feel about all of you guys. So thank you so much for your love, for your support. Make sure you give Sassy and Crafty a thumbs up and like and subscribe. This is Nancy, the Handy Scandy. I'm out.